On behalf of the Circle of Friends and the Baba Care Group, welcome to our little presentation. This is about Alzheimer's and dementia, as you all know. We thank Martha Bryant for coming and offering her services. She's a real pro. She is the real deal. She spent a career helping people do this, so thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
I am David Stoiber. I am now the new service director for the Circle of Friends. I've taken over from Judy, and Judy is still intimately involved. So we hope this will be a springboard, and we're hoping that Martha is going to show us some programs that are available in the community to help all of us in need. I want to thank Charlie Mills and Astrid Ballman for bringing Martha's name to my ears. Thank you. I just saw you here somewhere. This is a wonderful service, and I thought it would be appropriate to start off with some words from Baba about service. This is my favorite sense of all being and significance, and to release the fragrance of that inner attainment for the guidance and benefit of others by expressing in the world of forms truth, love, purity, and beauty. This is the sole game that has any intrinsic absolute worth. All other happenings and incidences or attainments can, in and themselves, have no lasting importance.
Hey, Baba.
Take it away, Martha.
Thank you, David. My name's Martha Bryant. Can you hear me? Everybody? I'm a certified dementia practitioner, and I lead 3 support groups without the county, and I give seminars where I'm needed. And Charlie has got me into this. He's one of my favorite people and was in my support group, so I appreciate him telling you guys about me. What we're going to do today, it says it's from 10 to 12, but generally we finish before that time, and I allow that time for questions or discussions, okay? So what we're going to do is I use this to get it. I brought you some quick facts. A lot of people don't understand about how many people have this. Over 7 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's, and by 2050, the number is projected to reach 13 million, and that's just incredible if you really think about it. 1 in 9 people above 65 and older have Alzheimer's. Health and long-term care costs are at about $384 billion, and nearly $1 trillion maybe in 2050. The lifetime risk for Alzheimer's at age 45 is 1 in 5 for women and 1 in 10 for men. Nearly 12 million Americans provide unpaid care for people with Alzheimer's or other dementias. It's only going to grow and get worse. So, 4 in 5 Americans would want to know if they had Alzheimer's before having symptoms. 92% of Americans would want to take a medication that could slow the progression. And nearly 1 in 5 said they would accept moderate or very high levels of risk of taking medication to slow the progression. There are some meds out now, and they're coming up with more and more, but I don't ever get into that because everybody's different, and anybody that has this needs to go to a neurologist. You know, every case is different. There are also, I don't know if you know this, Alzheimer's is the main, dementia is an umbrella. Alzheimer's is the main dementia, but I'm going to show you the other dementias too. There you go. It's an umbrella term used to describe a range of conditions which cause changes and damage to the brain. Okay. Alzheimer's number 1. Have you heard of vascular dementia? 10 to 20 of Americans have that. Dementia, 10 to 20 cases, 10 to 20 of dementia cases are that. Frontal temporal dementia, Lewy body dementia, and then there are several other that fall under that. So when somebody comes in and says, you know, my wife or my husband has dementia, that's not, it really needs to be diagnosed by a neurologist, because all of them are a little bit different. So you really need to know what you have, whether you have Alzheimer's or vascular or frontal temporal or Lewy body. It's really important to know what you have. Here you can see the different sections of the brain and what they control. And that just kind of explains, if you find out you've got one of the dementias, that would help you show what would be affected the most, like temporal lobe and intellectual and emotional. So I wanted you to see that. That kind of breaks down what would be affected: hearing, speech, coordination, whatever part of the brain is affected. Here we've got an Alzheimer's disease brain and a healthy brain. And if you can see there, the cortex shrivels up, damaging the areas involved in thinking, planning, and remembering. And if you see how clean the healthy brain is, over to the right is the Alzheimer's brain. And you can see where the fluid grows larger. And the hippocampus shrinks severely. Any questions?
Do they know what's making the hippocampus shrink? What are the conjectures?
Well, that's just a part of the Alzheimer's.
They don't know if it's diet or environmental toxins, or no idea about what may be making it shrink?
No.
Does it ever unshrink? Does it ever fill in again?
No.
It can shrink for other reasons.
Projected number 65 and older. You see it just climbs. That's a projection, sir. Okay. If you or somebody you know decides to go see somebody for this, this is the how it's diagnosed. The neurologist would get a complete and accurate medical history. It would be tests for mental status, full physical exam, full neurological exam, blood test, and the big thing is brain imaging. And when they do the brain imaging, that can show what you have and what part of your brain is being affected.
I have a question. Is the blood test fairly new? The blood tests for,
No.
they've been going on for a long
They've
time.
been doing that, yeah.
Depends what blood test.
Okay. There are lots of things that come up with this. And these are some of the symptoms that might, you might want to think about. Not going to a doctor, and you really need to go to be diagnosed, because there are meds that could possibly help you. And if they catch it early enough, it might slow the progression down. If you lose important things, if you get lost, now if you have unsafe task performance, repeated calls and contacts, you refuse, bad mouthing, making up stories. There's just, the list goes on and on. Some people make 911 calls. They threaten their caregivers. They undress. You can read the list. I'm not going to read every one of them, but there are many, many, many common things that come up.
What is shadowing?
What is shadowing?
Shadowing is you have to be following somebody all the time. Yeah. Shadowing, yeah. Striking, falls, infections, seeing things in people. Here are the 10 warning signs. Memory loss that disrupts daily life. Now I'm going to tell you about some normal things that happen when we get older. That's normal, and you don't have to panic over that, okay? This is memory loss that disrupts your daily life. For instance, if you forget your keys, that's normal. If you get in the car and you go somewhere and you don't know how to get home, that's not normal. So it's you know, you don't panic over the little things we forget. I do too. We're going to all forget different things as we grow older. That doesn't mean we haven't. Challenges in planning or solving problems, difficulty completing tasks, confusion with place or time. So if you start out and you're going to the grocery store and you forget where the grocery store is, that's a problem, yeah. Trouble understanding visual images, new problems with words in speaking or writing, misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps, decreased or poor judgment, withdrawal from work or social activities. Now that's a big one. When people start withdrawing from social activities and just, you know, excluding themselves, that can be a problem. Changes in mood and personality.
Question. So, how many of these count as you should start taking it seriously? If I have one of them, do I need to go see someone? If I have 5, how would you say?
Well, that would be something you would have to decide. There's not a set thing that I think you would have to decide if you need to go. Yeah.
But may I make a comment that being with people I've been around some people with Alzheimer's, their decision, you said they would have to make a decision to go. Sometimes they have zero apprehension in a certain time period of what's going on. So how can it be left to the person, him or herself, to decide to go? To me, what I've experienced with family groups that have someone with Alzheimer's, someone else in the family needs to decide that person.
Correct. That's right.
So they meaning family or friends, or not just the person.
Yeah, if it's bad enough, the person may not even know they need help. They'll need family to you know, identify and get them help.
I have a question.
I have one more question. I've noticed that I used to remember everything in a task, a line of a task to accomplish something, and occasionally I'm realizing I'm not thinking ahead the way that I used to, meaning this element over here would be good to remember as I make a phone call or do something online for solving a problem or finding information. So how is it, in your experience, determined when it is the second one up there, I think, at the slide just beforehand? You know, what is your just knowing nobody else, but, no doctor, just your experience since you've been looking at this, of when it is that you might recognize that there's more than just not as good as you used to be.
If you just described it, if you don't know, that's when you, in other words, you just identified some things yourself. You still saying, this is what has changed. You're aware. You're okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it makes sense, and
Most people that have this don't have any idea anything has changed.
Executive function declines with age, and there's really very little you can do about it.
That's right.
And so that's a natural
That's
result
right.
of getting older. It means you can't manage 10 or 15
That's right.
different things, or all the tasks that you used to be able to do. And that's a normal part of aging, and it declines as
That's
you get
right.
older.
That's exactly right, yes.
Oh, I have a question. I've heard that there is a lot of scientists who are working on the connection between infections of various kinds and Alzheimer's. Virus, long-term infections. Have you heard of that?
I've heard many things. I don't know what's true and what's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was real scientists with,
Yeah. Yeah.
they weren't fringe.
Yeah.
But it's not, I guess it's not ready for the public yet. It's still in.
Yeah, the best thing anybody can do is go to a neurologist. They have all the answers, the neurologist. Okay, these are the 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease.
But not dementia, you're saying. I guess what
And dementia.
Astrid was
And-
asking was, aren't these the warning signs for dementias?
Alzheimer's is one of the many
Sure.
dementias.
Understand.
So this is 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's
Okay.
disease. And the reason that I do this is because the main dementia with the most is Alzheimer's. That's the number one.
It's like 60%, right?
Correct, that's right.
And it is put out by the Alzheimer's.
Okay. 10 warning signs of Alzheimer's disease. Memory loss that disrupts daily life. Now, that's just what we were saying. We all have normal aging memory things we forget, but if it disrupts your life. Challenges in planning or solving problems. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. Confusion with place or time. Trouble understanding visual images or spatial relationships. New problems with words in speaking or writing. Misplacing things and losing the ability to retrace steps. There you go. Decreased or poor judgment. Withdrawal from work or social activities. And changes in mood and personality. Any questions on that? Okay, here's some things that can help you. Healthy diet, more sleep, regular exercise, socializing, reading, maintaining eye and ear health, decreased alcohol intake, and annual memory screening at 40 and above.
It sounds like these are risk factors when you turn it around a little bit. Healthy diet, unhealthy diet, or not getting exercise, getting exercise. Okay. So I know that they're probably doing research on that too.
Yeah, and these are just things that help everybody with everything. If you do, if you get good sleep, if you have a healthy diet, if you exercise, yeah.
I think it's also avoiding stress or doing meditation, activities that get rid of stress factor.
Sure, that would help.
It's a, I think, a high risk factor.
Why eye and ear health? How does that
Keeping
relate?
ear
What is the connection between maintaining eye and ear health?
Well, because if you can see well and hear well, you won't get as confused.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want
So
to,
it's like if you have poor vision and poor hearing, then it creates more like social isolation.
Exactly.
Unless,
Yes.
Yeah, so that's the connection.
yes.
But also there's studies that, as you lose parts of your hearing, certain frequencies, that also affects your memory. That's one of the reasons for doing listening therapy or hearing therapy or wearing hearing aids, that those parts of the brain need to still be stimulated with all different frequencies of the brain. And a lot of people I notice around here, the antidote that they see people using is writing things down. The people I see, you know, my friends, and I notice with myself, I talk things out loud now, and that helps.
Yeah.
You're talking about a task, you know, even this morning, like how much time I have 15 minutes to get this amount of things done. In the past, I would have just done it, and now because I know I'm going to forget 3 of them, I say it out loud.
Yeah.
baby. I mean, I would think it might be on that list. Find the antidotes that help you not forget the things you know you're forgetting now.
Right.
Most of the research puts exercise at the top,
Mhm.
that it's that important.
And alcohol too is coming more into focus, I think.
Not decrease, but stop.
Sugar.
Sugar.
That's just another chart that tells you pretty much the
At the
same
top.
thing.
Oh, there
Stay
it is, the top
hydrated,
left.
test
It is-
yourself, get enough sleep, exercise. Okay. Okay, here's what I was telling you that I had the chart for. Normal aging, we all make bad decisions, probably more than once in a while.
That's okay.
Every now and then, people miss their monthly payment. Now, since I retired and I volunteer, I'm lucky I'm here today. I always forget what day it is. So, forget what day it is and remembering later. Sometimes forgetting which word to use and losing things from time to time. Now,
Oh, I call that forgetting which word to use, sometimers.
that's true. Yes, that's true. Okay, so if it's severe, it could be this. It could be Alzheimer's, making poor judgment decisions a lot of the time. Ongoing problems managing monthly bills. If it's constant, it's many bills. Losing track of the date or time or of year. Trouble having a conversation and misplacing things often and not being able to find them. So what it's saying is that if it's severe, that is something that may want to be looked into. Okay, these are some of the behaviors, the challenging behaviors with Alzheimer's. If the one big one is when caregivers are agitated with them. That's proven to be a big problem, especially in nursing facilities. Boredom, frustration with tasks, trouble communicating clearly, unfamiliar environment, physical discomfort, tiredness, and there's a whole lot of behaviors that go along with that. They're some of the main ones that people talk about. Any questions on that?
You're saying this is what provokes the behaviors we're getting, where all the outside things are what provoke versus behaviors
Is depression one of them? Depression.
Depression, is depression one of them?
That provokes Alzheimer's?
No, that
As a
causes
result.
more,
As a result.
More difficult behaviors.
no? Okay, thank you.
How to cope with personality and behavior changes. Keep things simple. Have a daily routine. Reassure the person that he or she is safe and you're there to help. Focus on his or her feelings rather than words. Try not to show your anger or frustration and step back. Use humor when you can, and give people who pace a lot a safe place to walk. I think too that it depends on the severity of what stage people are at with Alzheimer's. The behaviors, there are many behaviors, but one thing that people try to do is overcorrect them, and that doesn't do a whole lot of good.
My name is Patty. I have diagnosed Alzheimer's disease, and everybody tells me I look too good to be sick.
They tell you look too good to be sick? Well, tell them thank you, and you realize that, and you're going to keep looking good.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't really think you can say people that have Alzheimer's are sick. So, you look good though, you look good. And you're here, and that's really great, so. And we're glad you're here. Okay. All behavior has meaning and is indicating something. Now, I'll give you an example of that. Many people with Alzheimer's will say, I need to see my mama, and their mother may have passed years ago. What they can't express is maybe they need to go to the bathroom. Or they may be expressing when they say, they know they're expressing a need, but they can't come out and say, I'm hungry, I need to go to the bathroom, I feel bad. So they will come out with something like that. That's something to remember. There you go. Behavior is a form of communication, yes. And an unmet need. Behaviors are considered a problem when the safety or well-being of a patient or others is compromised, or when a trigger or cause cannot be identified. So there are also a lot of triggers that people have to learn that trigger behaviors. One thing is not to argue, not to say, you've said that 1,000,000 times, that does no good, don't do that. It's no need to scold them. It's just no need for that, and it does no good. Control is about having choices. To change the behavior, you ask, you try, and you wonder why. Okay. What you can control is the environment, setting, sound, sights. The whole day, how things fit together. And how the helper helps. Approach, that's what I'm talking about. Behaviors, words, actions, and the way you react. What you cannot control is the person and who they have been. Personality, preferences, and history. The level of dementia now, and other medical conditions and sensory status. Questions? behaviors. What need is not being met? What is their life story? What is the trigger? Be a researcher, be creative. People forget that, you know, we all have a history. And if somebody, you know, they want to be remembered and respected for that. They may have been in service, they may have worked somewhere for the government for 30 years, they may have been a physician, and then they go into places and people don't look at them like that, but they need to. Because we all have a past, we all are people that did something productive in life, most of us. Create an empowering dementia environment. Develop purposeful activities. Speak face to face. Gain the person's attention. Keep items in plain view for positive responses to a task. Make conspicuous what you want them to notice. Do not argue. Validate the emotion you hear. Do not disagree with their sense of reality. Orient. Simplify everything. Find the trigger to the behaviors you wish to decrease. And offer choices. This is a lot for caregivers too. How to deal with that, with the behaviors.
Is there a good source for this information online that you can recommend? Because that's a lot to write down.
Or book.
Yeah.
Airplane.
The Alzheimer's Association has a lot of.
So something like this for caregivers would be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. Okay. Okay, when people are in their middle to late stages of Alzheimer's, oftentimes a person cannot express how they feel with words and instead communicate feelings through behavior. So that's something to remember. I'll tell you something else. I brought cards. Y'all can email me and I'll email you some information. Okay? I don't know what I did with the cards. They're right here. Let me put these out for you. And if you want to pick them up, it's got my email address. And yeah, if you like these, I'll send you pieces of it, okay? Okay. Okay. This is something that I think you could really use. Challenging dementia behaviors cheat sheet. Repeating. What to say, nothing. Answer if it is a question, or replace the repeating with a different repeating pattern like a familiar song. All right, here's one. I want to go home. What to say? What do you need at home? Keep asking questions about home until you find the unmet need. All right, how many people know about sundowning? Okay. Take them outside 1 hour before sundowning. Give them something to do with their hands during peak sundowning times. Accusations. Don't defend yourself or show evidence. Use logic. Speak to the feelings behind the accusations. Give space if needed to cool off and then offer to help.
Could you define sundowning?
What's sundowning?
I got a whole section that's coming up on that. Yes. Yeah, I got sundowning information for you. Coping with caregiver burnout. This, I'm not gonna read every one of these, but, caregivers tend to burn out if they, don't have much help, lack of support, and have unrealistic expectations. And signs are anxiety, depression, feeling exhausted, neglecting and your well-being, falling sick more often, changes in sleep patterns and changes in appetite and weight. Okay, this is a good communication strategy. Realize your challenge. There will be good days and bad days. Be patient. Tolerate compassionately any delays or provocation. Offer reassurance. Listen attentively and empathize. Minimize noise. Avoid arguing. Use nonverbal cues. Be precise. And I think one of the biggest is keep everything simple. That if you don't, it can really be mind-boggling to them. Be sensitive. Don't talk about them as if they were not there. That's a big one. And if you feel frustrated, take a break.
I also read somewhere that you have to wait 6 or 7 seconds before a person can respond to a question you have.
Sometimes.
So you have to wait for the answer. You cannot.
Yeah, sometimes. It depends on the person.
Could you give an example of avoid pronouns such as they, he, or she? Do you mean use the person's name? Be precise.
Yeah.
May I ask a question for the page before? It was something about don't respond. I mean, one can respond better if one sings or music. I'm not sure. Is that like in a response to repetitive statements by the person with mental challenge? I'm going to call it challenges. Can you? Are you suggesting that people play music or sing to the person? I didn't quite get that. It had something to do with music. I'm not sure. Maybe it's page
It's
before.
two slides back.
What she's saying is if somebody's repeating something, you might switch to a song.
Here it is.
That's what I'm asking. So can you give me some examples? Thank you. Yeah, I knew it was. Yeah,
Where is it?
Replace the repeating pattern with
After
a
repeating
different
at the bottom, the left.
repeating pattern, like a familiar song. It's the third one down on the left on the top.
Or replace.
Well, what it's saying is if it's a whole lot of repeating, you could, provide a song for them that gets them involved in the song rather than just repeating.
So turn on music.
Yes,
No
yes,
dancing
yes,
or
yes.
Sing a tune they knew.
There seems to be a lot going on about using music that the person was probably a teenager that they liked.
Right.
It seems
It's
to
a-
bring
yes.
them out of the
Yes.
box.
Or even a really small child, like some of those nursery rhymes and stuff.
Yeah.
It seems like they found that people remember those maybe more.
Yes.
There's plenty of evidence that if you use like a playlist for
Mhm.
someone who may even be at a severe stage
Mhm.
of Alzheimer's,
Yeah.
with nonverbal,
Mhm.
they will begin to speak.
Mhm.
So music activates certain
Mhm.
parts and can really relax, and it's a great tool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I just want to add this, it's tangential, but not really. When my mother was passing, she was very afraid to die. She was really scared. And it just came to me, what can I do for her? Because she was already on whatever that medication is that they give you at the end to, I think, help take people out. And so I don't think she could respond, or she was somewhere else. And I thought I want to do something to make her feel something better than wherever she's at inside of her being. And I started singing songs from hymns growing up.
Good.
And so I'm only saying this just because that might be something if you are with someone who's passing away, if you feel intuitively, I mean, just give me an option. It just helped me, and I felt that it helped her. Because there was communication, but it wasn't something that necessitated a response.
Yeah. Well, that, you know, you redirected it, and that's good with music or something like that.
Well, actually, yeah, I just
Yeah.
sat there and sang
Yeah,
the hymns, one after another, and I just
That's
for
great.
a while. So it's just an idea that for people to be aware
yeah.
of. I don't know if
That's
that's
great.
but-
That's a great idea. Okay. Points to ponder. Stages or rough generalizations. You talk about the Alzheimer's stages. Nobody goes through the stages the same. Some people may be in stage 1 and go to stage 2, and some people are in stage 1 and go all the way to the last stage. That's the saddest part of the disease. Everybody, it affects different. If everybody did it the same way, had the same stages, had the same behaviors, everything worked the same, but it's not. Everybody's different. It's a continuous process. Each person's experience and symptoms with Alzheimer's is different. Imaging technologies can identify deposits of a protein called amyloid beta, a hallmark of Alzheimer's disease. Touch. Touch is a wonderful thing. It is. It's a wonderful thing for people with any kind of dementia and Alzheimer's. Okay, so this is something that I'll tell you what happened, how I ended up here. Don't stop visiting them because they may not remember you. And I'm from Virginia. This is my home now. I've been here 4 years. And why I wasted my time driving over an hour to see people that didn't know me. And I said, first of all, you don't know me at all, do you? And I said, second of all, you don't understand anything about this. And I went home and I thought, this would be a national crisis. If people thought, well, if people have Alzheimer's or any kind of the dementias, we shouldn't go see them. Then I go, no, we'll just forget them. So I went online and I thought, wonder what I could do to help that. And I thought maybe I'm being silly. And I found the national certification for dementia practitioners. So I spent over a year getting trained in that. Because I thought, well, maybe, maybe there's not enough education on it. We can't look at things like this. We can't not go see people because they're like, that's awful. That's just awful. So that's why I became certified to do this. Anyway, I was doing a lot of presentations in Virginia, and I thought, when I go to South Carolina, nobody will know me, and I'll never do this, I bet. And I was walking up to the trash. I live at Coquina Harbor in Little River, and a lady was struggling along with her trash. And I said, I've got my trash, I'll take your trash. She said, who are you? And I said, well, I'm Martha Bryant, I live in Building C. And I hadn't told anybody that I did any of this. And she said, well, what do you do? And I don't know why, but I said, well, I'm a certified dementia practitioner, but I was doing a lot in Virginia, but I'm not doing anything here. And she said, wow. And she was the music director at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church. And I went there and did a seminar, and I've been running a support group there for over 2 years, and also at a couple other places. And it was, I feel like God sends us where we're supposed to be, where we're needed. And, you know, I thought, well, and that got the ball rolling. And it's horrible to think that people honestly think that if somebody's not going to know you, it's no sense to go see them. But that's how I became, all this became. And I'm happy about it, and I enjoy it. And I enjoy meeting everybody, and anytime I have a chance, even though I'm a little nervy at first, but then that goes away, I keep doing it, and I'm glad you guys are here.
I am affected by somebody with dementia, and I talked with a friend of mine who is also affected, and we both said that nobody is calling us anymore. Nobody is visiting.
I'm sorry.
Maybe people are scared or don't know how to act around us. You know?
Well, they need to learn how to deal with it in this world, and it's up, and you know, from my perspective, there's no excuse for that. I just feel there's no excuse for that. Okay, don't stop visiting because they may not remember you. Use their actual name when addressing them. That's a great thing, yes. Avoid quizzing them on what they may know or not know. Don't assume they're always confused. Avoid speaking to them as though they are a child. Treat them how you would like to be treated. Okay. This is basically talking about the early diagnosis. And it also, you know, the sooner you know, like I said, if there are medications and they can start them on them early, that's good. Be patient and understanding. Trust care to a fellowship-trained Alzheimer's neurologist. Seek out a center with advanced diagnostic capabilities and encourage enrollment in clinical trials. For some people, the symptoms they face diminish immediately. However, for some, they continue on. That's the truth. That's what's so hard about this. It's not the same for everybody. Okay, this is a, now you guys you may want a copy of this. This is really good. Never argue, instead agree. Never reason, instead divert. Never shame, instead distract. Never lecture, instead reassure. Never say remember, instead reminisce. Never say I told you, instead repeat, regroup. Never say you can't, instead do what they can. Never command or demand, instead ask, model. Never condescend, instead encourage. Never force, instead reinforce. Do pay attention to what works. Don't engage in arguments. Do use distraction as a tool. Don't lean too much on reason. Do encourage happy memories and familiar hobbies. And don't take it personally. Okay. From late afternoon into the night, people living with Alzheimer's or other dementias may experience increased confusion, anxiety or agitation, difficulty sleeping, pacing or wandering, or disorientation. Has anybody dealt with people on sundowning?
A lot.
Okay.
An expert on it. But it's not funny. It's really, exhausting.
66% of people with Alzheimer's may experience sundowning. That's a high percentage.
Give you antipsychotic drug for it.
Occurrences of sundowning may vary in intensity and duration. Again, not everybody experiences it the same. A theory connects the symptoms of sundowning to a disturbance in the body's internal clock. The brain damage caused by Alzheimer's sets off permanent confusion between when I'm tired and need to sleep and when I'm rested and ready for activity. Okay, here's some tips. A group of behaviors occurring in some older with or without dementia at the time of nightfall or sunset. Confusion, anxiety, agitation, aggressiveness, psychomotor agitation, pacing, wandering, disruptive, resistance to redirection, increased verbal activity, overlap with dementia, delirium, and sleep disturbance. Okay, here's some things that can help reduce it. Give laxatives early in the day if they need that. Provide personal care at the same time each day. Ensure patient has glasses, working hearing aid. Place familiar objects at bedside. Monitor amount of sensory stimulation. Consider late afternoon bright light exposure. Avoid PRN, sedative, hypnotics. Establish regular dose of drug for disturbing behavior and assist caregiver in obtaining respite help.
It's here. Oh.
Okay. Strategies to improve some of the behavior. Predictable routine, now that's a big one. Exercise, soft music, comfortable climate, enough rest, healthy diet. Oh, hand massages are great. They're very calming and yes. Calm atmosphere and familiar things, comfort objects. It's usually between 4:30 and 11. You can have one or all of those: confusion, anxiety, agitation, aggression, pacing, mood swings. Oh, one big thing with it is urinary tract infections. Yeah. Triggered, aggravated by infections, especially UTIs. Fatigue, too much, too little light, noise, stimulating drinks, coffee, alcohol. Now this is an information sheet that I found. If you guys want one of these, email me, I'll send you that. It just gives, it's like a schedule that you can have. And remember this, knowledge isn't power. Applied knowledge is power. So whatever you learn, you apply it. If you learn it and don't apply it, it's not doing much good. This is a good idea sheet I came up with. You know, a lot of people have things happen that are really good for people they're taking care of, but they don't write it. No, they don't tell people. They don't tell the next caregiver. They don't tell the family members. So I came up with a sheet. So if something happens that's really positive and helps, you write it down and then you can share it with whoever comes after you. That was just something a little bit I created. Okay, so this is my aunt that had Alzheimer's. And the reason I show you this picture is because, don't forget, people said, why do you go see these people? Well, I had a cottage in Maine for a while, and I was away for 3 weeks, and I came to see her. And when I walked in the room, and she saw me, this is what she did. Do you think she knew who I was?
Yeah.
She didn't say, hey Martha, I missed you, but look at her. And she came running towards me with her arms, grabbed me, hugged my neck, and I said, I know you missed me. And she knew I had been gone. So don't be fooled by people that say they're not going to know you, so don't worry about seeing them. That's it.
I have a question.
Questions?
Yeah.
Discussion?
They give you a lot of assistance. There are agencies that help you. You
Yeah.
can get money for respite. It's called GUIDE. Guiding an Improved Dementia Experience. It's the GUIDE model.
Yeah,
Provided our neurologist triggered that, and I got a letter, and they told me what they offer.
Good.
There's money for respite for caregivers, and there are nurses on call 24/7. And look it up. It's guiding
How do you
the
apply
guide
for
model.
that?
I made a few copies. Okay.
Judy can see it.
The Circle of Friends is trying to expand the Baba Care group,
There's a-
and we're redoing the website. And on the website, there's going to be things like Astrid is talking about different programs, and it's going to be easier to navigate, and you can be on the lookout for that. And you can contact me. Astrid has been helping me a lot with some of the programs that she's discovered, so it's just another outlet for you. I did want to say something about my own personal experience. My mom had Alzheimer's, and for a lot of reasons we were estranged, and we didn't speak for 20 years. And then she got dementia, and she was living with my brother, and I was kind of estranged from my entire family. Don't need to go into that, but I started seeing my mom after she got dementia, and towards the end, she didn't remember anybody, but she was very happy. She used to be a really unhappy and angry person, and she was mad at men especially, and she had divorced my father, and it was one of the reasons why we were estranged, because I worked with my dad. But anyway, towards the end she got happy, and she forgot about all the reasons why she was mad, apparently, and she also forgot why she was mad at me. And I remember one time going in and saying, "Hi Mom, do you remember me as David?" She said, "No, but I remember I love you." Just like what you were saying with your aunt. Anyway.
That's a beautiful story. Thank you.
I just want to say two things. One is, it's sort of helpful to be connected to someone who said, "Don't worry, be happy." And then the second thing is, there's a guy named Chris Mann who sings a song called "Remember Me," and it's about Alzheimer's. And I find it a very helpful thing to listen to.
Thank you. And
Thank you, Martha.
I had a love aunt in Boston, and she had been a teacher all her life, and then she got, we didn't know what it was called, because we're talking about 40, 50 years ago. She was only talking in numbers, and her kids who were in their 50s came to stay with our family, and they said, we think she's worried, and so they started, and she was by that time she was in a nursing home, and she'd been living at home. And they would go every day and they'd say, we've cleaned the dining room and we've given this piece of furniture. And they would describe what they'd done. And every day they would clean a new room. And she got her mind back completely. And for 2 years she was lucid. It was like the weight of worrying about what she was going to do with this nice house and all the furniture. And had been, there was no more numbers for a couple of years.
Okay, more stories.
Yeah, high stress.
More stories.
More stories.
My grandfather, similar to you, Mom, he didn't remember me. He would show me photos of me and my brothers and tell me who they were. But he was so cheerful. He was so loving. It was amazing. And also one thing that is not taken into consideration is, one more thing, is the soul. The soul.
The soul.
The
Yeah.
soul. The soul. Yeah.
Joy?
I just want to make a comment. Just to connect things, it's one of the things I'm always doing, I've always done. When you talk about sundowning, people, one of the issues is people getting out of the house or out of the hospital or out of the nursing home and walking. I'm thinking, and you said about focusing on behaviors, Mary? Well, maybe those people need to go out for a walk in the early evening to get exercise. The behavior is expressing what they need and want. So instead of being scared of them escaping and being maybe hit by a car in the middle of the night, to take them, just do exercise with them. Go out with them and walk, or I don't know, just anything. Dancing in the room. Just a thought.
It's not so much to want to walk in the evening, to want to take a stroll.
Yeah, you guys do that a lot.
Cards, anybody? For Martha?
I have a few copies for the guide for the experience.
Dory?
I wanted to ask and mention if anybody knows about Dr. Bredesen, who has done a lot of research.
Say that loud.
Say the name of the
Dr. Bredesen is an MD who has done a lot of research on Alzheimer.
Where is he?
Show us the book.
The end of Alzheimer's.
Judy, you want to put the book on the video?
Yeah.
Dory?
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and also Dr. Amen. I don't know if anybody knows about him. It's very expensive, all this stuff.
It's very expensive
Very
and it's very over here, so there's a lot of controversy around
Yeah,
his
and
efforts.
I've heard both.
Yeah, me too.
Some have really success with Bredesen and the other one.
What's
But
the,
I-
Sanders?
but I'm-
Sanders? What's the woman's name? Is it Sanderson?
I don't know.
She worked with Bredesen.
Yeah, I mean, Amen has a clinic in Atlanta. That's the closest. But it's $6,000, $7,000 just to, the.
And it's controversial.
Yeah.
Since we're telling stories, I have a story. Many of you know that I used to work for Mercy Care Hospice. And people who work for hospice nurses and others, who see people at the point of dying, have a number of stories. We had a training session from one nurse who was dealing with a patient, and she actually saw this herself. If she hadn't seen this herself and I hadn't heard it, and the rest of the staff, from her, I wouldn't have believed it. But it's germane to us because we know that the mind has absolutely nothing to do with the brain. The brain is a tissue thing that's sort of like a wiring system that the mind can express itself through. She had a patient who was dying of terminal Alzheimer's. Now, a lot of people have Alzheimer's and die of something first, but in this particular case, if you live long enough, you actually forget how to swallow and how to breathe. This woman had been non-communicative and immobile for 3 years. And she was actively dying at this point. She had been eating, she had all of the signs of it, and the nurse was by her side, just doing what hospice nurses do, watching over her. And then she looked up, got alert, said to the nurse, "Thank you for everything you've done, but my sister is here now, and I'm going with her." And she promptly died. Her sister had, of course, died before. These are not unusual stories. These things happen. But how could a non-communicative Alzheimer's patient get immediately lucid? We know, of course, she was leaving her gross body. And once you leave your gross body, hopefully you'll leave your Alzheimer's body. we can only hope. So I thought I would tell you that story because it's something that Bible lovers can appreciate.
We have to die first.
Makes sense.
We have to die to get healthy.
Get a new body.
Anybody else?
I could tell one story, and it's kind of a crappy story. My dad was full-blown Alzheimer's and amputee, and we finally had to bring him into the nursing home. And my brothers came down from up north, 2 brothers, I, my wife, their wives, and my father's wife. And we all in the room where he was, and the nurse was there. And we're all around my father, and he does not know any of us. He doesn't know his wife, he doesn't know us, my wife, etc. And the nurse looks at us and says, "Your dad is a wonderful artist." And we're looking like, is this woman crazy? My dad's never painted in his life. How could he be an artist? And we said to her, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, you know, your father is in diapers, and when he has an itch, meaning he's already pooped in his pants, he puts his hands in his pants and then starts drawing on the wall." And so she said, "That's your father, he's an artist." So that's why I say it's a crappy story.
You're a piece of work, buddy.
Oh, David.
I could tell you a lot more, but that's just one of the better ones.
Oh, my goodness.
Joy.
Yeah, this has been around. This has gone around before, but it always touches me. There was a man who would come to a certain, I don't know, something about a doctor, had an appointment, and he said, "I have to go see my wife. She has Alzheimer's. She doesn't know me." And that person got impatient, and he said, "Well, why do you, if she doesn't know you, why do you go?" He said, "She may not know me, but I know her."
Right.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.